am just setting up, getting prepared for my healing circle, my healing space. I'm just setting up, getting prepared for my healing circle, my healing space. Welcome in. So if anybody wants to come up, I'm doing transformation. Welcome in. So if anybody wants to come up, I'm doing transformation talks Tuesday. Today, transformation talks Tuesday. Today's question, just not even positively, how has it impacted your healing journey? Not even positively, how has it impacted your healing journey? You've made recently that positively impacted your healing? Hey girl.
Hey Jasmine, Serene Risings.
Hey, hold on, I'm trying to turn this up. Oh, there we go. Hey girl. Okay, I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. How are you? Good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Ooh, thing just fell. I am good. Today's healing circle, I have hold on, I am so sorry. It is, other phone is acting. There we go. So what's one change you've made recently that positively impacted your healing journey?
Oh man. I'm still trying to discern whether or not it's positive or negative because it's a big one. Honestly. So I went completely no contact with my immediate maternal family.
It's positive. It's positive. That's positive. That's positive.
I'm going to say I agree, but I'm also going to tell you why I feel like it's kind of like kicking me in the butt at the same time.
Yeah, no, go share your journey, girl. Go ahead.
Okay.
Floor is yours. I can't mute myself. I mute others, but I can't mute them. So.
Okay, no,
Go
you're
ahead.
fine. Okay, so the reason I feel like it's positive is because I'm the black sheep of both sides of my family. My paternal side repulsed by me. I'm not sure. They loved my dad, but couldn't stand me, though, for some reason, pretended to like me. It was weird. On my mom's side, I'm also the black sheep of my family. I feel like it's mostly due to the choices that my mom made and is still making at her big grown age. So I'm kind of outcasted on both sides of my family, but what I noticed was that no matter what, especially for my maternal side, that I would be kind of like the go-to. Like if my cousins had a problem with another woman, I'm the go-to, like advice wise, like I'm the biggest supporter. So my mom only had three children. My brother, who is no longer with us, he was epileptic and autistic. So I was kind of like a guardian angel of him. But now that he's gone, it's kind of like it furthermore pushed my no contact with them. My sister is the middle child. She's 2 years older than me, and I'm the youngest. So now that it's just me and my older sister alive, I've prided myself since I was really young on like being like super like into family, wanting kids, wanting the family, like wanting to have like this dope relationship with my sister, with my mom, like wanting a good circle of girlfriends. Like I've always wanted that, but it has been the complete opposite for me. Over the years, I've realized that I became the scapegoat for a lot of the gaslighting that happened on my maternal side of the family, specifically with like the immediate, like grandmother, mother, siblings, like that close knit. I could like there's nothing that I could do without being like just completely, I feel like, ragged down on, talked about, like treated poorly. Like I would give the shirt off of my back, my last dollars. Like I would give up my peace a lot of the times to let some of these people come to live with me, only for them to cause me like the most traumatic experiences, from stress to like anxiety, to the point where it's like trickling down and affecting my health. And about 10, 12 years ago, my mom suffered a stroke, and I kind of became like the full-time guardian of her. At the time, I didn't realize that I was pregnant with my youngest son, but I kind of became like the watcher of her, like just making sure that she's okay.
Caregiver.
Yeah, like 100%. She also battled with drug addiction as well. So I'm like on her like 24/7. Like I'm on her, like I'm an
And you were
elder.
pregnant?
I was pregnant at the time, yes. And I wasn't aware that I was pregnant. I didn't find out till maybe this was in 2012. I didn't find out until like almost 5.5 months pregnant that I was actually pregnant, because I was so focused on my mom, her physical therapy, her health, because the stroke that she had took a major toll on her physical appearance as well as her mental health, emotional health. Like, so I was like breaking my neck, breaking my back, making sure that everything was everything. And my uncle and my grandmother realized it. And we moved back to our hometown in 2012. But like I said, over the last 10 or 12 years, it's just been a consistent merry-go-round of like toxicity and me always being the scapegoat. When I choose peace, my grandmother was always, which is my mom's mom, she's always like, for example, I'd be like, enough is enough. Me and my sister have had it up to here. She's mistreating our brother. She's mismanaging finances. Like, she's causing everyone to suffer. My sister has a son. I have two children. Like, it's enough. Mom, you kind of have to go off on your own and kind of figure it out. My grandmother would be like, yeah, no, I'm going to go pick her up from wherever she is, and I bring her back to your house, and you let her in this house, and you sit down and you shut up and you don't complain. She's your mother and she's all you have. Like, that's the what I noticed in like the Black family. Like, you're always taught that family is family, and you shut up and you
Don't
don't
go
say
against the grain.
anything.
Yep. Yeah, you
It
taught that.
ragged,
Yep.
Jasmine, it ragged on me so bad, to the point where I've dealt with suicidal thoughts from the time I was 18 up until 30, the age of 30. I have been diagnosed with anxiety. I've been diagnosed with depression. I cannot, with the medication that they give me, I would rather like give it to spirit or find a good coven of women and like do that. But the medication, I can't do it. Like, so like, it's just, it's been trauma. So I separated myself from my family. I moved to Nebraska back in 2021. My oldest sister, I saw her off because I drove her halfway to Arizona. Drove her to Oklahoma. She went the rest of the way. I went back to our hometown, packed up my things, and I went off to Nebraska. So now we were living two different lives. Sibling separation was real for my older sister, not so much as me, because I haven't had the best relationship with my older sister either. I've never been chosen first by her or my mother, but my mother never chose her kids first either. My mother has this thing where she chooses her significant others over her children. So it trickled down to my sister. It bypassed me because I will get rid of a partner before I choose them over my children. Also depends on like extenuating circumstances matter to me as well. So it does depend on the situation because we all know how detailed and how, complicated and intricate things can get. But about last year, my sister was going through 2022, she was going through like a rough time with this new person she started dating. And she was just like, she's a very clingy. She's like the little sister, though she's the oldest, and I'm the big sister, though I'm the youngest. So it's just like, yeah. So I'm just there 100%. I'm always supporting her. She was going through truck driving school, like before we even moved from our hometown. I'm there every step of the way through her studies, watching my nephew when she goes to work, when she goes to her school. And like, I'm there every step of the way. Mind you, every significant other she's had, she's ganged up with her significant others against me, though she and or her significant other would be in the wrong 99% of those times. So I'm still there supporting. I decided that we both discussed me moving from Nebraska to Arizona, which is where I live now in Phoenix. Moved to Glendale, Arizona with my oldest sister, thinking that, hey, I'm going to be there. She's always calling me, like, complaining about her significant other, complaining about our mother, mistreating her, the gaslighting, the narcissism, like all of these things. And so I'm a protector. Like if you're in my friend circle, if you are like my close relative, like you're not going to play with my best friend. You're not going to play with my coven of women. You're not going to play with my sisters. Like I don't care. You're not going to do that. And I feel like they use it against me because once I actually got here, my sister completely switched sides. Like she went from, oh my God, my significant other is always doing this, and this. Her and mom are always doing this, and this to me. I wish you were here to defend me and help me and support me and all these things. And when I get here, like immediately, day one of me getting here, she completely switched. She took gasoline and poured onto the flame. So basically, it's almost as if she swapped me, like she swapped herself out. Instead of her being the person that was being mistreated and being traumatized and drugged, she grabbed me here and threw me into the flame because it all flipped and switched. Like when I say it flipped and switched, I mean the gang up on me and my significant other, me and my children being outcasted, her significant other pulling a weapon out on me and my significant other for drama that she was causing. Like this person was literally intentionally causing a rift between our bloodline. And I wouldn't like, not to make it spiritual politics, but I would say I'm more spiritually connected than my older sister is. Her and her significant other know that. My mom know that. My grandmother knows that. My grandmother's always known that. She's the one that told my mom that. And it got really bad, like really bad and really toxic to the point where, again, for the third time in a row, I wasn't chosen by my sister. She didn't side with me. She didn't protect me. She didn't defend me. She chose her significant other to the point where she left me and my children out on the streets. And so when I recognized that, I decided that I would no longer allow a time, a place, or a space for anybody to do that to me again. I held my sister up on a plateau that I probably should not have held her upon because she is a human. But I held her to like the utmost. Like there is not a person that roams this planet that knows me, that doesn't know my sister and how highly I think of my sister. Like there is not one person, to the point where like some of my closest friends wanted to date my sister. That's how highly I spoke of her. But like in every aspect of my life from the time we were like, I can remember as far back as like 11 years old. She's always outcasted me. She never protected me. She never defended me. She would spill all of my secrets while I kept all of hers. So it was just kind of like weird that like now we're in our 30s and I'm still experiencing this childhood high school behavior from her. And she's 34 at this time. Well, 33 going on 34 at the time. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go no contact. I went no contact August 28th of 2023. I stopped talking to them. I went and I booked me and my children an Airbnb because, like I said, we had just moved to Arizona. So we didn't have anywhere to go and we didn't have any family here. Her and my mom and her significant other had completely turned on me. So it was just like walking on eggshells and complete uncomfortability. I went completely no contact, got my job. My significant other was already working, got up on my feet, moved into our place. We have been doing fine. And then February 28th or February 23rd of this year, I completely ruptured my left PCL. When that happened, I felt like it opened up Pandora's box because my oldest daughter, she went and told her cousin, who's her oldest cousin and only cousin, technically speaking, my sister's son, who then told my sister. And then my sister comes with this, my sister, I need to support my sister. But it really wasn't support. It was masked as support, but it was really her coming, I feel like, to siphon more of my energy because I had dreamed multiple times that, three to be exact, that she was going to come back and we were going to rehash and try to heal and rebuild our relationship. So I was kind of prepared for it with an open mind and an open heart. However, when she came back, she was still dating the same individual. The same individual was still causing her trauma. The individual was still stressing her out. And she was still looking to me for the support of those same situations. So I saw that as a red flag and I kind of like put my foot out of the door again because I don't like letting people come back without change behavior. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, I would say about 2 or 3 weeks went past. I'm post-surgery now at this point, and her significant other's birthday is in April. She decided, instead of taking heed to the warnings I have been giving her spiritually about staying away from that said person, she did the complete opposite, and it has landed her in criminal trouble. When I say criminal trouble, I mean something that you're going to have to fight to get your civil rights back. Trouble. Yeah. She didn't listen to me. And on the April 8th solar eclipse, she experienced criminal tribulations that now it has her in a state of mind where I feel like, is now experiencing depression and anxiety like she's never experienced it before. So now that she's gotten into this, I'm like, I'm the younger sister, whatever. She was like, well, I'm giving up my rights as older sister and you're now taking on the reins. I'm accepting my fate as younger sister. And I'm just basically gonna, I never asked you for anything. This is what was the second red flag to me. I never asked you for anything, but I really just need your help and I really need your support. And though that was a red flag to me, I still went with it. I have been 100% supportive of my sister throughout this entire journey, where it started to get a bit iffy for me, and what made me go final no contact with her was when she recognized that because of the criminal issues she had or is facing, getting an apartment, maintaining her position, was going to be hard. So she asked me if we could like go in together and move into a bigger house here in Arizona where we live at, which would mean her and my nephew, though she would be on the lease, her and my nephew would be moving in with us. So it's two families conjoining. But me and my spouse would be paying most of the rent. So we're splitting the rent all of the bills actually three ways. There has been multiple people who I brought this up to that told me that should have been the last red flag and should have made me like completely step away from her. But I, of course, didn't really listen. I was just kind of like, like that's a part of the support that I felt like she needed was, in the event she did lose her job. She's a truck driver and they get paid pretty lucrative. And if she loses that income, as a Black woman, that's my sister. Like, I can't watch my nephew, my bloodline, completely tank because of my selfishness and my ego. So, like, I'm willing to be like, whatever. Like, we'll take on most of the bills. But when it came time, so we're looking for places, and I'm turning down nice homes that could be easily DIY projects, which is something I've been itching to get into, something that I feel like would be bonded for our family. Like my spouse is interested in it. The kids are interested in it. Like it's a new experience for all of us. I'm turning down these places because she's like, oh, no, I don't really like that one. And then we're turning down other places because I'm feeling like the rooms that are said to be her room or her space, they're not big enough. And I want her to feel like just because she got into these criminal, these criminal problems, it doesn't mean that she's less than. It doesn't mean that she deserves anything less than. Like she's like, I'm okay with the small room, but I'm like, no, I want you to feel included. Like you're still big. You're still, you know what I mean? You still have a big heart. You still have a big personality. You're still as big as anybody else. Like, don't let, because I understand with our father having to deal with, criminal history, I understand what kind of mental toll that takes on people, how it outcasts people. So I'm like doing my best to try to make her still feel like she's her, like she's my sister. Until we got to one specific point where, because my son suffers from mental health issues as well, I wanted everybody to have their own space and be comfortable. We got to a point where we seen this one specific house and it did not have all of the space that we needed, and I disagree with it. And her narcissism that I thought she had worked on kicked right back in. The narcissism flew through the roof. She came and showed up to my house about a month ago, and the narcissism started. Mind you, that entire week leading up to the day I decided to officially no contact, like I'm not retracting it, was that the entire week she had been ragging down on me. Like I didn't have my own things. I have physical therapy that I have to go through. I was still like, I'm still healing postpartum, a whole surgery. And she's just like, what am I going to do? What are we going to do? It's just like, you need to give me the answers. You need to find the solutions. You. And I'm just like, oh my God. So then the final Sunday, she came with just this nastiest attitude and this like ridiculous amount of narcissism. And I remember one of her words after I told her, like, you can't even sit down and have a simple conversation with me as an adult and you're the older sister. Like, you betray me. I'm trying to help you because you went and got yourself into trouble. And now this is the thanks that I get. You're going to turn around. And then she told me that basically I betrayed her by even moving to the state of Arizona, as if she didn't ask me, and called me almost every day begging and crying for me to come here, and how she was having sibling withdrawals. So I cut her off. I told her at that point I no longer wanted anything to do with her. If that means she would be spiteful and take my nephew away, then that's just so be it. Excuse my French, but so fucking be it. Because I've been the scapegoat for a family full of narcissists since I was about 8 years old. And now it's kind of put me in a space where I had told my leasing office that we were moving. So we had signed I forgot what they call them, a lease ending notice that I could no longer take back. And it resulted in me now having to waste thousands of dollars staying from Airbnb to Airbnb because I guess I will blame myself because instead of following my first mind and not allowing her to come back without change behavior, I allowed her to come back not changing her behavior, and I got the same exact result, which resulted in the same thing I went through the exact same time last year in 2023. That for me is the negative part of it because it's kind of like, damn it, you didn't learn your lesson. But you see the lesson now, which is the positive part of it. And I never used to like speak up for myself. Like I used to like just let them say and do whatever. And I just like disassociate and go on like, oh, whatever, whatever. I'm an Aquarius moon. What y'all saying don't faze me. Like, whatever. Like I used to be kind of delusional in that sense. To now it's like, no, I have feelings, I have emotions, and this is how I feel, and you're gonna hear it. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. This is how I feel. I'm standing on how I feel, and that's just that. So that's the positive that I take from this. I feel like I'm finding my voice. I'm defending myself. I'm standing up for myself. I'm telling people hell to the no. If you're crossing boundaries or if you're doing or saying things that don't resonate with me, or if you are doing anything that is of a detriment to me, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. I love that. And so at the end of our shares, we like to see how we can support you so you don't get unwarranted advice, unwanted advice. Do you want some feedback? Do you want validation to know that your feelings make sense? Or did you just want us to hold space for your share?
I am open minded to all.
Yeah. Okay. If anyone wants to come off mute and give feedback, Janae or Mama Joe.
Yeah. Okay, I did come in late to your story, but I heard enough. God. Okay, I really, really hate to tell you this, but your sister sounds disordered. I mean, the red flags that were going off were off the charts. That you might benefit from knowing the 10 traits that all cluster B's disorders have. Because, yeah, that was my first informative YouTube video. Yeah, I mean, being raised by one, I'm deeply passionate about educating people because of, I mean, what you were describing, so many missed opportunities. You were the one taking care of her. And she's like, no, I don't want that house. No, I don't want that. And now, you know, look at where she's left you. And then she's, I mean, the no contact and then the hoovering, that's what it's called. Oh, I miss you. Oh, I'm having sister withdrawals. And yet, every time you're around them, you're on eggshells. You're walking around on eggshells. And I mean, you're going to get yourself back in a good place. That's what it sounds like to me. Because you were there before. You were in a good place before your sister, you know, you had to take care of her and all. And I mean, I'm confident you're going to get back there again. It's just where she's left you, the energy vampires, the emotional vampires. I mean, I hate telling you this. I really do, but that's what your sister sounds like. She's highly toxic.
Yeah, and you don't have to feel bad for that because it's before I went no contact with a best friend of mine for the narcissism. Me and him sat down and had a conversation because again, he was used to me speaking highly of my sister, and he hadn't heard me say anything about my sister in months. I mean, I think we weren't talking for about 8 months. He was like, oh, where's your sister? And when I went and I started telling him, like, you know, what kind of happened, and he told me, he was just like, I'm gonna say this. I really don't want you to get mad and stop talking to me because you love to play arts and crafts with people at this point in your journey since you've been finding your voice. He was
Mhm.
like, but have you ever thought that there's a possibility on a spiritual level that your sister is more so of a spiritual enemy than an ally? And
That's deep.
I said, well, yeah, but I never really wanted to like, I never wanted to dissect that. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. Like,
Yeah.
I loved and poured so much love into this woman that I did not want to like look at her as a spiritual enemy of mine. However, when I started to dissect the fact that growing up, she always had our grandmother to run to. So me and my oldest brother, we struggled the most, meaning I struggled the most because he was epileptic and autistic. I had to take care of him when my mother was not around. So my sister, whenever she spotted trouble in our household, she would run. We grew up between Indianapolis, Indiana, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My paternal side is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My maternal is Arkansas, Tennessee, migrates to Indiana. So she runs back to my, like, since we were kids, like, she always stayed with my grandmother. Me and my brother, we were left with my mom. We were left to deal with the traumas and the struggles, et cetera, to the point where even leading up to us being adults, she gets more support from our family than I do. I went through a traumatic experience about the year after my dad passed in 2017, where my children were taken out of my custody because of a racist officer in the state of Indiana. And it took me 4 years to get them back. I got no support from my family. And the family that I did get support from, it was my sister. Within 2 weeks, she immediately gave my sister back to the Department of Child Safety, who then gave them to a relative of ours. And my oldest child was molested in that home. So it's like I didn't get any support from my family for that. And when it came time to get any type of support, it was just kind of like, oh, no, we're not helping her because she's not going to do anything but just be just like her mother. She's going to make us take care of her children and she's never going to be there. But I was never that kind of person because even though I was not supposed to have contact with my children, I was breaking the law, sneaking to go and get my kids and take my kids back to my home and spend nights with my kids and do, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing what I was supposed to do as a person and I still never received the support. But no matter what she does, whether good or bad, she still receives the support. Like, she went and got herself in criminal trouble. And one of our uncles who traumatized me and her both as a child, and he knows what he did, he calls her and checks up on her. He's like giving her legal advice. Of course he would, because he's a felon and he's been in, trouble. But he's like calling her, giving her support and emotional support. But when it was my turn, like, none of these people were around. Like, everybody was absent. I was going to court dates by myself. Like, I was suffering. Like, I lost about 80 pounds during that entire process. I chopped my hair off. Like, I was depressed, suicidal. Like, my mom was going around telling people, oh, she's depressed. That's why she chopped her hair off. Like, oh my God, Mom, seriously. Like, my sister never went through the things that I went through. So, like, when he said that and I started to dissect it, I was just kind of like, oh, hell. Here we go.
I need some things for clarity before I give my feedback. You said you had 2 children, boys, girls.
My oldest is a daughter. We share the same birthday too. It's coming up in 11 days. I mean, in 9 days. And then I have a son.
Okay. And you're no contact with your family now, right? Currently today?
Currently, yes.
Okay. And your children are with you currently today?
Yes.
Okay. I just need that for clarity. Okay. So today was the question for those of us just joining, transformation talks. What's one change you've made that recently that's positively impacted your healing? And you said by going no contact with your maternal family. I wanted to validate you. I'm breathing. I think we first, if you can with me, just take one deep breath. Just
Yeah, my anxiety is kind of.
no, I need to take it because your story and what you've been through and on your healing journey, you have, I'm just proud of you. And I want to validate you that no contact is best for your healing journey right now, because there's a lot of healing and time that needs and work that needs to go into your healing journey currently right now that they can't be a part of this next season. I'm so sorry. And I also wanted to say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry that happened to your daughter. That is a lot.
Yeah. I just, the fact that you just said that makes me feel like the validation is definitely real, because
Yeah.
I couldn't. I'm sorry for the emotions, but
It's okay. And that's what I want you to do, because I feel it. I want you to allow yourself to cry, because that is sad. Sorry.
I
That was a
feel
lot,
like
girl.
I feel like the end of this, the reason why I'm going through like such a hard time right now, though I am optimistic and I know like the outcome will be good, is because I was trying to take my sister into the next chapter. I'll be 33 in 9 days.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but feel like me stepping into my 33rd year was like a phoenix rising year for me. And I was trying to take her into that journey with me. And I don't think she was supposed to go with me either.
She's not. She's not, because and stuff has happened to her, because you're a mother being on drugs, and when that happens, when that addictions happen, they overlook what's happening to the family. So there's stuff that's happened to you. There's stuff that's happened to your brother. There's stuff that you probably don't even know of, even till today, that they're going to struggle with, and it's too heavy a burden for you to carry if you're not healed, or if you're not on your healing journey. So you have to let your nephews, everyone, they're going to go through things, but you and your children need to get still enough. You need to get still enough to hear God and God within. I mean, still enough to just sit with self, get your journaling. I don't know what my feedback is. Journal every morning, seek every morning, pray every morning, pray over your daughter. That is, they've been moved through homes. They've been, so it's okay. Keep coming to, my rooms. There's other rooms on Clubhouse if you want to download that app. There's gratitude rooms. I can send you that when we get off here, so you can just have gratitude practice in the morning. Norman and Abby's room, they're my friends. You go on there, you express, I'm grateful for, and you vocal, and like you said, using that muscle. Our tool is our voice. That's a holistic tool that people forget about because we've been silenced all our life. So once you start getting used to saying what you're grateful for saying you're grateful for where you are now, grateful for your kids being alive, grateful that you are breaking the generational curse, because you are the black sheep. The black sheep is the one that's usually the one to break the generational curse, right? And so follow that, hear those things. I'll send you the Clubhouse, their room. He goes every day, every morning. So that is another support group. So join the support groups where you're understood, where you're seen, where you're heard. And Mama Joe, she said, you set your priorities and focus on you and children.
Yeah, she's about to make me cry.
You be selfish. You be selfish. And that's another thing. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to process those emotions and breathe. Cry, because you've went years without crying. You just put it on. You had to survive. You were in survival mode. You had to get to the next day. You had to get to your kids. You had to spend the night with your kids, and then the anxiety of giving them back. I get it. I feel it right now. So you have to allow yourself to cry and release years of pain. And in order to do that, no distractions in this season. So stay no contact. I just want to validate that. Stay no contact. Stay in these support groups. I'll send you the other rooms. Practice gratitude, practice journaling, what you need. Give your daughter, maybe make it a little day. You guys go, I take my son to Five Below and let him pick out just something that's aesthetically appeasing, like that's pretty, your favorite color. Get something, God loves aesthetic. So get something that you want to write in. Write those things down. Write what happened to you. Write everybody that's in your life and what they've did to you. Write all the years you've been, all the years. I like to start with the Eric Erickson chart. I'm going to do that for the subscription, the people that subscribe. But if you need help with it, you can DM me. You write every year that you were born, all the years to current, to 2024. So I was born in 93, so whatever year, and then to current, you write what happened. If you remember the house, if you remember when you saw your mom doing drugs, if you remember all of that, you write it in those slots, just to release it on the paper and to not be silent, to not keep no secrets, to not, to really use your voice in those things and tell your story and learn your own testimony, because sometimes we don't even know our own testimony because we're scared. We're not even scared. We don't even know how to, like, oh, it happened maybe when I was 15, but then no, that was too, to get it an order, organize your trauma, really. That's what it's doing. And so I think you're just in that season, and I validate you. I hear you. I see you, and you're doing an amazing job. Just keep going and keep the no contact, because they are not safe people. Yeah. And allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel those, and hug yourself while you're crying, because no one's going to do it for you. It's not the kid's job. It's not the partnership. Hug yourself while you cry, because you're going to need that in this journey as well.
Thank
and so
you.
with that, that's my feedback.
Thank you. I appreciate the advice from you guys.
Can I chime in?
Yes, absolutely, Mama Joe. This is Mama Joe.
Hi, Mama Joe.
How you doing, baby?
Jasmine, you what you said in the comments is gonna make me cry, because I've never been selfish. I don't know if it's because I'm a Libra, and we're really people pleasing kind of, but I kind of got out of the people pleasing, but I still haven't stepped into the selfish, because like even when it comes to my sister, my mom, to this day, I'm no contact, and I plan on staying no contact. I can't help but feel bad, like you're no, because I'm kind of in a season of like just trying to find my community. So I'm looking to join one of the spiritual practices. And one of the biggest things that what kind of prompted me to join up on the panel when I heard the discussion for the day, family, like these belief systems are surrounded by family and caring for the elders, and I'm just kind of like, oh great, I feel more like a damn outcast, because
they're called misguided beliefs. It's a misguided belief system that family should be family. They are. You care for them, and you how you can be there for spirit is pray for them. And another feedback before Mama Joe goes, I would say not look at their signs for anything, because I used to do that, astrology. I used to do all that. Look at the person for the person. Like if they're unsettling your spirit, if they're, because not all months or people born in that month are the same.
Are the same, right?
Yeah, it's through the different perception, it's through the different experience, it's through the individual trauma, it's through the different experience you've had with your mother. It's through that. So because I used to do that, and I'm not telling people what to do, but I'm saying for me, it became a distraction to what really was going on. Like, oh, I'm a Sagittarius, so this means no. It just means I am a kind person. Like, bring that energy back to you. I am, because they say Sagittarius, I'm kind, all this. I am kind. It's not my sign. It's me. It's me. So that's just another feedback. And Shay was here. And then so I'll let Mama Joe go. And so in this healing circle, when we vocally say how we support is, you said you want feedback, validation, all that. We go on mute when the other person is talking.
Okay.
And we breathe. And then when that person's done, we share just to have the circle in flow. So Mama Joe, the mic is yours.
Wow, that was a lot. I've always been the black sheep. I've always been the caregiver. I've always been let me save everybody. Let me, The only time I would hear from them, even to this day, is when they wanted something. But yet, I went through the drug problem. I was in my 30s when I remarried. And the guilt, I can, speaking from a drug addicted mother point of view, at that time, you do not think, you, you're basically thinking about yourself. And my problem was that I had so much that I was doing, taking care of my father-in-law, picking him up off the ground when he was drunk, and then I had 4 babies, and I lived right across the street, but I was being talked about. And then when I started using drugs, it was out of loneliness. I was by myself. I didn't have any help, and I met somebody, and they were using. And every now and then I would use, and I would try to justify, the use. And you can't tell anyone about quitting. It doesn't matter what the addiction is. You cannot put them down, bash them, threaten them. They're not going to stop until they decide to stop. I had to decide for myself. I'm not going to do it for nobody else. And I was guilt tripped by my children. I did the best I could. They always had a roof over their head. They always were clean and dressed and all those things. And yet, it didn't matter. So I had to decide for myself what was best for me. And at the age of 65, when I was in my 40s, I took care of my grandchild. And I put them first. And I put my daughter first. And my daughters, my children. I always had them first. I never in my life put me first. Even as a young child, taking care of my nieces. I made sure my mother was straight. And when I met this man, my second husband, I devoted everything. I put God on the back burner. During all this time of in the streets and in drugs and all that, I still kept my faith, and that's what kept me grounded. My foundation was God. I didn't choose God. God chose me since I was a young child, and I didn't want that assignment. I didn't want to be nice. I couldn't help it. It was in me. But that did not make me a bad person. The people around me made me feel as though that when I started to pull back and started to be kind to me and started to be selfish and say, no, I'm the bad person. And then I would go right back into that cycle over and over. I'm talking about for years. Until 2020 when COVID hit. And I stopped. Well, God stopped me. I looked at the people's actions, not just their words. You got to look at what people, because they'll come to you smiling and nice and treat you good for a little while, and then they're going to allow you to, once they get you in that position to where you feel like you're helping them, then they turn on you and they start acting stupid again. They start acting like themselves, them real selves again. And you be like, now you all hurt, broken up. And then once you start healing and pulling away, here they come again. Well, she's strong enough now. I can suck up all the good juice out of her. And when I get full, I'm going to just let her be right there and let her fill up again so I can come back. If you understand what I'm saying. You need all your energy for you first, so you could be good for your children. You have your children now. And not only that, you have to think about what is the example that I'm showing to my children about the people they can connect with. Because it sounds like the people, even though they are family members, are users and manipulators. And when your children get older, they're going to connect with those people because, oh, my mama, So you have to become selfish, and I learned this through several of the groups that I'm in, and the houses that I'm in. That being selfish, having self-care and caring for yourself is not selfish. People that want to use you will call you selfish. My husband used to call me selfish all the time. When we was on drugs together, he would tell me. Now he would go take the money. Whenever he got money, he'd take and disappear. When I had money, and I would tell him, no, I ain't giving you nothing. You went and spent all your money. You know what he would say? You selfish. So that's just an example of red flags of things that you can spot in people. Just you don't have to be with around them that long, And it sounds to me like your emotions. I let my emotions, my feelings, get in the way of making sound decisions. I went by how I felt and the right thing to do. My brother would always call when he needed money, and I didn't have a car. I choose not to have a car. I could have saved up and got one, but I choose not to. And the example is he lived 7 minutes away, and when I'm sitting on the front of where I live, I'm by the highway, so I can see the cars pass. I asked him, I said, whenever you go to the store, call me and let me know so you could give me a ride so I could get some things I might need. I've seen that car pass, I can't tell you how many times. Not once did he call. But I would get a call when he didn't have money. So there is nothing wrong with keep your focus on you and keep your focus on your children. And every time you make a decision, being that they are not of legal age, every decision you make, your children are watching you. They are looking at you. So when they get old enough, I'm going to tell you now, when they get old enough, they're going to bring that back up in your face. They're going to say, well, you did. See how you go back to your mom? The mama. They don't think about the daddy, because even to this day, my children, that man ain't paid now damn child support. Nothing. Changed no diaper, did none of that. I had 4 babies. I pushed out 4 babies for this man. Because back then, your husband had to, in Louisiana, I don't know about the rest of the states, but you were considered property back in the 80s. So your husband had to sign if you wanted to get your tubes tied. You had to get his signature. So I had 4 babies. And the minute he went to prison, baby, I hurry up and got clipped, tied, and burnt. Because there's nowhere in the world. It's the truth. I wasn't going to have now another baby for this man and his mama across the street paying all the bills. He out there doing him, and I'm home with these children.
I feel it. Mm-hmm. You got to make the decision, a selfish decision.
Yes.
And I don't even, and selfish, I think, has such a bad connotation to it. Like people but in this journey, you have to be. You have to be. So I love that. I just wanted to, sorry, you got me going.
Yes, baby, no, I'm telling the truth. I'm trying to give this baby some sound advice. You got to be selfish with you and your children. And when your sister calls, say, look, you lay down here, that baby, that's your problem. I got 2 of my own. Now, I can't help you. And be firm.
I actually suggest blocking. I think blocking
no
for
contact is... no contact at this point because you're not strong enough. I messed around with that narcissist husband of mine and thought I was a big girl and I could talk to him, and I was right. I was good. I was doing good in writing my book because I kept a lot of journals since 1996 to keep track of what the things he was doing, because it was like I couldn't believe, and I thought maybe I imagined. So I started journaling. So journaling helps. God first. And most of all, I'm a believer, and I do believe in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Because a lot of people say God, but they don't believe in Jesus. Well, for me, I have no qualms with anybody else's beliefs, but for me, that's what I did, and that's what I do each and every day when I wake up. I don't have no time limit on my prayers. I don't like when people say, oh, before our feet hit the floor and all that. Then you be feeling like, well, dang, maybe I ain't praying hard enough. I got tired of hearing that. I started praying to God, talking to God like I'm talking to y'all, because if I got to listen to somebody tell me I need deliverance and that'll run you up out the church, which is a trick of the devil, baby. Don't believe none of that. Amen. All you got to say, Lord, help me. That's all. And he's going to
start seeking. Yep, start seeking.
And like I said, I get excited sometimes when I talk, because I've been through so much, and without my faith and my belief in myself and knowing what I can do. You know what you can do. I'm hearing you speak. You are confident. And it seems that when those negative people come around you, they diminish you and they devalue you and they take advantage of you. So what you got to do is say no, block, don't have no sympathy. Sympathy do not belong when somebody trying to drag you. If a big giant come right now, and think about them as the big giant, and they snatch you by your hair and pull you and drag you through over broken glass, are you going to tell that giant, come on back? Look at them like that, because that seems like they're trying to tear you down, baby. The enemy going to use your family, those closest to you, to tear you down. And I'm going to be quiet, and I hope that can help you. But Key, be that. That's the name you gave yourself. Be that. Look at the meaning when you gave yourself that name, and you stand on that, okay? And I love you with the love of Christ, honey.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Mama Joe. Thank you. We're gonna keep the circle going. Today's transformation talks, we are answering the question, what's one change you've made recently that's positively impacted your healing journey? And Shay, the mic is yours.
Well, morning to you guys, afternoon here in the UK. Hope everyone's...
Oh, she got out.
Oh.
Okay, we can hear you now. You're back in.
Okay, sorry about that. If you hear any music in the background, it's because my son's watching his little programs. I would say just one positive change I made, I kind of touched on it yesterday, is just learning to block out the negativity. Not every action someone does needs a reaction from me, and that's the thing that's been helping me right now to have peace within myself.
I love that. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, cut out at the end. You said to cut out negative people.
Just to what I kind of touched on yesterday, is just learning to block out negativity, and not every action someone does needs a reaction from me. So that's just been giving me peace right now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh, and your vocal share, did you just want us to hold space for that? Hold space, feedback, validation.
No, I welcome all feedback. Anything.
Well, my feedback, you already know I'm going to validate that. Like, girl, you're doing one. Yes. And I think that's just full circle. Like, anything that's negative, anything that's unsettling your spirit, anything or anybody that is impacting your healing journey, that's distracting you. Like Mama Joe said last week, I wrote it down. I highlighted it too. She said, the enemy will bring people the closest to you, will distract you with the people closest to you. And that was powerful in itself. So they're distractions because because the enemy doesn't want us to heal, because there's power in our healing. There's power in our testimony. And the enemy wants us to stay there, stay stagnant, keep staying in the patterns. Like, we see the patterns and we logically know like something's wrong, but we kind of just sit there and dissociate and just stay and just like let the day go by and let the next day go by, the week go by, the month go by. Then next thing you know, it's 2024 and we're still living in 93 and still living in the 90s, So yeah, I love that. I love that. Mama Joe, transformation talks. What's one change you've made recently that's positively impacted your healing? Mama Joe, the mic is yours.
I'm still getting used to this.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I pressed something else. But I would say when I pray, I'm learning to pray even holding this phone whenever I come on Clubhouse or YouTube or anything, learning to pray, to keep anything that is not, anything negative, anything that is not of God out. And I pray for myself to be able to speak without causing offense, and that my mind not take offense. and that whatever I say, that will help someone, and help me, to grow in the Holy Spirit and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Because, like I said, my faith keeps me. My foundation is of God. So I pray about everything, and because we need protection. We need spiritual protection. We need to have spiritual eyes and not look at all the physical, because we are spiritual beings, and we transform, we transcend. We don't conform. And when you transform, like the Transformers, they have different parts that we don't even see, that's causing them, that mechanism for them. And that same thing internally, we transform. And we don't have to tell everybody. We got to, if you don't tell the devil, he ain't gonna know. So when you start talking and you're in a season of transformation, keep some things to yourself. Because even though people will clap and then, oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, this, I learned to keep my mouth closed because I talk a lot about certain things. And people be praying against you. They be hoping and wishing against you. And I look at things as love. What does love consist of? What does the action? What does love in action consist of? And hate. So you've got a positive and a negative. And in flesh, you can't tell the difference naturally. So you have to stay in the spirit, and that's how I'm transforming. I'm learning how to get connected and closer in the spiritual being of me, and not my emotional. Because your emotions are connected to your soul, and the enemy knows that, and he knows the word of God. I mean, he was an angel. He was up there living in a high place, still in high places, and. I'm learning a lot, and I've also learned that when the biggest thing that people come at me with, because I love to dance, I love for my clothes to fit. I like bodycon, okay? I like the way my clothes fit, and I'm all. Some people my age will say, "Oh, you're not supposed to dress that way." I dress.
Oh, you went out,
It
Mama
doesn't
Dove.
bother me. It used to bother me. Maybe Oh, I had a. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're fine now.
Yeah, the phone had I was getting a call, but that's how I'm transformed. I'm in loving me. This is the first time at 65 I'm living alone. I don't have children, grandchildren, husbands. I just got a divorce, and I feel good. I like being alone, and some being alone is helping me to grow and to know who I am. I got married at 16, so I never had a chance to know me. And the people around me made me feel bad about who I am. And so me didn't know me. Now I'm getting to know me, and I'm all right. I'm a pretty nice person. I'm a cool person, and that's where. And I'm so glad to be around young women who are discovering that and taking the time to validate themselves at that age. Child, I'd have had so much money right now if I'd have did that when I was young, because I wouldn't have been with Buster for 20 something years, almost 30 years of my life, because I married him when I was 35. And I was a bad mama jamma. Still a bad mama jamma. Age don't mean nothing if you ain't got the mind that you need to have to navigate in this world.
Yeah.
Because I could have still been in that 40 something mindset, and an abusive mindset. So my mindset is totally changed, and so that's my transformation. Learning not to take everything personally to heart. It's not directed at me, and keep it moving. If it don't apply, don't fly. And even when it do apply, clap back. You ain't got to be mean. Pray about it. Decide. Should I? You don't need to defend anything. Just, hey, just live life. Live, love, and laugh. So that's me.
I love it. I love it, Mama Joe. Let's see if he's gonna like this. Trying to start his lawnmower. Okay. I love that. Mama Joe, vocal support, feedback, validation, or just wanted us to hold space for your share?
What you talking about?
You have to
What do you
vocally,
mean by I don't talk to no? What you want? What you want, Jazz?
yeah, vocally say, I just wanted you to hold space for my share, or did you want feedback, validation? You have to vocally at the end of your share express support, how you want to be supported in your share. So did you want did you just want to hold space? Did you just want to
If
share?
anybody wants to pour into me positively or corrective, lovingly corrective criticism, or if they want to, that's fine. I welcome that. That's another part of my transformation, learning. I just said not to take things personally and receiving it. And I always analyze what people say to me, whatever feedback, whether it's going to help. Like I said, I take what I need and give the rest away. And that's what I do.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to come off mic, and if not, that's fine too. Okay. Well, I just wanted to pour into you and say, I love your journey. You already know how I feel about you. I love that you're now able to embrace and express what you've been through in your experience, because it's going to help others, and that's how we inspire. Is the more vulnerable we are, and I've learned even just in my journey, the more vulnerable I am, the less people have to say about me. And let their truth be their truth about me, but it's not the truth. It's not my truth. So when we're able to share our story, how it went down, and our experiences with the people, there's power. It's like taking your energy, your power back. How Soki was saying, like with her sister, just going no contact, just and not that you went no contact, but just that you are limiting what you say to, or not even limiting, you just know what to say and who to say it to. Like this person probably is not at the capacity to handle this part of my story because it may hurt them, or this person can, this group can handle this part of my story. So I love you, Mama Joe. I love that you are sharing your wisdom with us, because that's a lot of years on earth and a lot of experiencing that you had that we have not had. So I always say the young should listen to the old, and the old should listen to the young, because with that we hear God. So I love you, Mama Joe. I just wanted to pour that into you, and thank you for always being transparent and honest and truthful about what you've been through. Go ahead, Soki.
I also just wanted to pour into Mama Joe. Like, you are such a light. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for the advice and feedback that you gave on my situation. I love what you're talking about, mostly because growing up, you are always like, when you have children, I was a teenage mom. So like my grandma was just kind of like, you had them babies, your life is over. Like, I never seen my grandma reclaim her life after raising her kids and like her husband passing and stuff. So like seeing an elder who has went through very similar trials and tribulations as my grandmother, but I see you claiming your life back, like you're grandkidless now, your kids are grown, you're freshly divorced. So it's almost like Stella got her groove back. I am loving this, okay? Because it makes me feel like at the end of the day, like I'm half your age. So it's like I'm dang near like probably the age of one of your kids. So it's like seeing mama like reclaim her life, something that I would have wished to see my mom and the women in my family do. So seeing other women outside of my family but within the community that's still kind of like family to me, it's like, yeah, I'm not giving up hope. Like I'm not giving up. So thank you, Mama Joe.
All right, girl.
That's another thing I wanted to say, Mama Joe. You give us hope that you give me hope that my mom can heal. You give me hope that my grandmother can heal, that those generations before me can heal, because you're doing it. You're doing it. It's possible. It's possible to hear us. It's possible to, like we've even experienced, like there's triggers, but it's possible to get through those triggers together, and with language that's not like we're arguing, but that we are getting revelation together, you know? So I thank you, Mama Joe, so much. I love you.
I love y'all too. What I want to say is that, and I will continue to say it. God keeps me my foundation. He's my foundation, my rock, and without him, I would not be here. I mean, for real, I should have been dead. But God said, no, you got a purpose and a plan. I could not understand that initially, and I rebelled. And I went in the streets, and I went on drugs because I was angry with him, because I was doing all those things that you were doing. Okay. So, okay. Am I pronouncing your name right? I don't want to. Key. Okay. And I was hurt, and I cried a lot. And when my son died, I felt a lot of guilt. My mother, and I don't normally say this out, but it's time. When I was 5 years old, growing up in Louisiana, there was a lot of witchcraft and a lot of things. They call it voodoo. And she thought I was the devil. I was 5. And I learned how to started reading the Bible. So she automatically assumed that, because it was unnatural. I mean, I was born in 59. So this was the early 60s. I was 5 years old. And God took that memory from me and my family members. And I would always ask them, how did I get this knot in the back of my head? How did I get this? She tried to kill me. Trigger warning. Because that's why I said God chose me from the womb. And I always had that complex that something was wrong with me, but there's nothing wrong with me. I had to be an adult before that revelation came of how that happened. And I had to ask a doctor, what kind of scar, where would that scar come from? And the doctor told me, blunt force trauma. And then I knew for sure, because everybody else was saying I was crazy. So those things and those memories will come to you if you have had trauma. Don't let it overtake you. Don't let it overtake you. The enemy, that just lets you know you've got a role, you've got an assignment, you've got something that God has for you to do. And when it's time for you to speak, because Jasmine and Lady Storm and now Jana, the women in this sister, they call it, somebody named it Soul Sisters. The Soul Sisters.
Yeah.
What did you call it? The Healing Home Girl?
Yeah, we the Healing Homegirls for my community, but our group chat is Soul Sisters. Yeah.
And so, like you said, we have to stop comparing, because we are from different generations. We have to coexist, not only coexist, but to blend. We can't understand each other unless we listen to each other. And so that's because, matter of fact, I have children. My youngest child is 42. And had my oldest lived, he would have been 48. I had my children young. And that's why I said the things that I did, my children saw. And when I was with their dad was abusive physically. One of my daughters ended up with an abuser, and she's in that. And for a mother to watch her child go through stuff and that child won't leave, and he's a narcissist, it hurts, but I had to learn to stay away. I don't stay with my daughter. She comes visit me, but I can't be around him because I am, and God knows that when it comes to my children, I will, I'm not going to say all that, but I'm very protective over my children. They will always be my babies. If they're 100, they were still my babies. And that's the love you have for your children. And I'm just going to keep you in my prayers as I do everyone. And I'm glad that we're helping each other. And you guys are really helping me to be able to understand my daughters. Because I know they have things I want to, like I'm talking to y'all, I want to be able to talk to them. And that ain't going to happen no time soon. I tried. And then I get my feelings hurt. Because they're the only ones who really hurt my feelings. I can be mean to people. So I'm learning how to deal with that. And I'm growing and I'm learning through my daughters. You know, my bonus daughters, my daughters in Christ. And I thank y'all because y'all are helping me.
I love that because, sorry, I was typing in the chat. Soki said that she would succumb to Janae's content. I was like, yeah. I was going to say, oh yes, she's very engaging. She follow for everybody, and that's another thing that when we come to the healing circles, I have to speak more on. We support each other in content journeys and healing journeys. So please follow each other. Please support and. One more thing I wanted to say, what Mama Joe brought up for me too, the triggers I found is in the accountability, because when I talk to my mother about an experience I've had with her, it's either it didn't happen like that, because our perception is different. I was young, and as an adult she may have been like struggling to like pay a bill, but I looked at it as we didn't have food that night, so there's a lot of there's a lot of like misunderstanding that goes, that the conversations get so triggering. So going to spaces like these to find the language to with other people of different generations, because there's Generation X, the millennials, and then within the millennials there's the older millennials and then the younger millennials, but when we all come together to communicate, we'll find and cultivate the language to go back to our families when they're ready, or bring them in to hear the individual perspective. But what I've learned too, in just like hearing everyone and just having kids of my own as they grow, and even when my son, I had those moments where I'm like, that didn't happen like that. I've learned to just stay silent and let his perspective be his truth. And even if it hurts, and even if I like, some stuff is just outrageous, and I'm like, that really did not happen, but I don't say it. I just allow him to speak, and I'm like, oh, okay. And like, how did that make you feel? Like, really, how did you feel in that moment? So when we get to a point in our healing journey when we can validate their truth, even if it hurts us, or even if it feels like a lie to us, if we validate that, if they're not like, again, like, there's a woman in this healing circle that her children are a little, like, they're mentally, something's wrong with them, like they need help. If they're mentally ill, then don't validate their truth in like a lie, but like a complete, like, outrageous, like, lie, like, you choked me, and you never really did that, it's like, no. But if it's just something like just mistakes. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, I just brought up a point of just how I would see my mom get triggered. And then with the triggers, I've learned to calm down, but if we have to learn our anger too, because her anger was like physical violence, and so it wasn't safe enough to bring up those things with my mother, at least. So that's where that led to, like, okay, that's not a safe space. But yeah. We'll move on. With Janae, you're next. Transformation Talks Tuesday. Let me unlock my phone. What's one change you've made recently that's positively impacted your healing? Janae.
Okay, sorry. I was having mic problems, same as Mama Joe.
You're fine.
Oh, okay. So we got to go recent. Okay. Well, I would say starting YouTube and TikTok and all of this, but it hasn't settled yet. So I'm going to say honestly what I do every night at the end from 8 to 10. That's my favorite self-care time for the moment. is finally writing my book on the year hell itself cracked open and swallowed me, 4 major traumas in a single year, but apparently it's going to be volumes. It's taken a lot of healing to get to the point where I can write about it the way that I am. I'm advocating for everything that happened to me, and I'm hiding nothing. Nothing that I did. I mean, it's in there. I'm not making myself out. I mean, I was 11 and 12 at the time the 4 major traumas happened. I'm like, I'm not painting myself as this perfect little thing that was the perfect victim. I don't think there is a such thing, but I'm holding people accountable at the same time, because I keep reminding myself I had nothing to be ashamed of. I was a child, all this stuff that was happening to me. And I'm also sharing how I healed from it. So you get a two for you. Like, I'm championing for myself. I'm my strongest advocate right now, telling this story, writing it out. And it's so cleansing. It's so beautiful. And it's like every time we process things, we remember more. We get fresh light bulbs and insights. And that's what's happening to me. The story goes back in time to the tail end of 1985, and then flash forward to 2018 when I'm in EMDR going through it, starting my healing, and how I eventually transcended that. So it's going back and forth. And I don't know. I want the world to know what happened to me, but I also want the world to know how I healed. How I healed that. And it's such a beautiful experience. Sometimes there's a little bit of ouch pain where I've got to take a little break from it and kind of calm the inner child down. It's like, okay, it's okay. Let's sit with this, and then we'll get back to it. People need to know what happened, because I didn't have an advocate at the time. I didn't have a voice. No one was there for me, but now I'm there for me. And it's such a beautiful experience. And I hope it inspires other people to also tell their stories, because that's the golden ticket to making positive changes in the world at large. Because all I can do is educate and empower others. The rest is up to them. I want them to heal in such a way that they can tell their story the way that I am right now. And yeah, so that's my transformative thing.
I love that. And I had to write that down. Be your own advocate, because that's what it is. It's advocacy. And to go back to the point I was trying to make, and you helped me bring it to clarity, is when we're speaking to family, when, we're going through this healing journey, and let's say like we're at a point where we're ready to hear their experience with us. Like if my mom was ever willing to hear my experience with her. And which I still think that's not safe. I think like going to other spaces where not family, not to them, but coming to spaces like this or Norman's room or Lady Storm's room, that's the safety. But I would, if it gets to a point where it's hurting or triggering, I feel, even with my mom, like I tell her, like, maybe you should talk to someone else about this. And I would encourage them what we're encouraging ourselves to do. Like you need to be your advocate for that. If I hurt you, you probably need to, if that's your story, you probably should speak it and speak it louder. Like I would tell them not to keep a secret, or not to like push it under the rug, or, invalidate them. The invalidation comes from, that didn't happen like that, or I didn't do that. That's invalidating. So if people are bringing themselves to a point where they're invalidating you, be your own advocate, because advocacy, that's what we get from our journeys. If you've ever, had a assault, I'm not sure which words we can say on here that I don't want to get kicked off, but like any traumas, emotional, verbal, sexual, abuse, physical, when we become when we start healing that, we become advocates for it. We start advocating for ourselves and then others. So that's just something that Janae brought clarity to. So thank you for that. And I love and just want to pour into you that you're doing amazing, and I can't wait for your book to. I'm so happy that you're working on your book. We really need to have a healing circle about our books, kind of what they're about. And I know some authors that got theirs published on Amazon and stuff, and just what steps to take to get them published, because, that's supporting the content as well. So thank you for that. The healing circle is going to end here soon. If anyone wants to come off mic and release anything else in this space, now's the time to do that.
I just quickly wanted to kind of like bounce off what you said, Jasmine. I'm still experienced with my mother when I've tried to bring up obviously past issues like I've experienced through childhood with her and how it made me feel and how that's affecting me today, and getting that energy back. Oh no, this didn't happen, and etc. And it's just like, I love my mom to bits. She's like my best friend, but at the same time, it's just that heavy weight there. So if I just want to open it up to circle, if anyone has like any advice or any tips, because I still feel like I'm just going to start off my healing journey, like how to deal with that situation and how to just properly start healing in all aspects of my life. Just any tips would be really grateful.
Yeah. Floor is open, whoever wants to unmic.
There are those who will invalidate your experiences. And, this is something I say. Your story deserves to be heard. Your experience deserves to be heard. But not everyone deserves to hear your story. I mean, seriously. My parents have completely denied everything they put me through my whole life. And even went as far as to call me a liar with a wild imagination, and they're not in my life. They are not in my life today. I've been no contact since 2009, and I will be for life. And because I know what happened, and we should never let anyone invalidate our experiences, because that's called gaslighting. Oh no, that didn't happen. I never said that. Oh, I don't remember it. Well, that's the same language my parents used on me. And they're refusing to have any ounce of personal accountability on an extreme level, going as far as blaming us, accusing us of making things up, etc. And they want you to doubt your own experiences, but never forget that really happened. That really happened, and don't let them do it.
Thank you. No, that's really helpful.
And I needed clarity with your share. So you're going through it with your mom, or was it the baby dad's mom?
Oh, my mum. So this is like I tried to bring up with her, I think, much earlier. I'm 31 now, so kind of like there was a part in my 20s where, me and my mom had a really, really bad relationship, and we're on the mend, but there's still moments where I will feel like anger towards her because it's stuff I experienced when I was younger. I can still see her doing that behavior now, and I try to talk to her about it, and it's just like, oh no, I'm not, that's just how I am, I just do this and just do that, it's nothing personal sort of like attitude that I get. So I know it's just when you were springing up talking about your mum, I realized, my main focus has been like trying to heal from the experiences with my child's father, but then it just reminded me I'm still kind of going through this issue with my mum. So that's why I was saying, maybe I need to kind of like just reflect on a whole, like look at everything that I actually need to heal from, which I don't think I'm doing. I'm just looking at one part that's kind of happening right now. But I know there's a lot of stuff deeper that I need to unpack, but just haven't done it yet.
And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's just hard to unpack if we're like we were discussing yesterday's healing circle, like if we have to work or we have children, all you have to just write like all the hats that you wear, all the responsibilities, really, right? Like we're a mother, so that's a hat you put on. I'm a wife, that's a hat you put on. Or if you're a partner or spouse, that's a hat you put on, you know. If you work, you're in the work field, you whatever workplace, that's another hat. So it's all these layers until you take them off, and it's like, who am I with self, right? And then when you sit with self, then you have to like kind of write, like I said, everyone who you know, not who's around currently, but everyone who you know. It's a long list, right? Like we know a lot of people, and I'm not saying like social, but I'm saying like friends that you are talking to, your parents, your grandparents, your children, and then your siblings. And then you kind of just have to see patterns, like really visualize and sit and meditate. And when you're seeking, seek it with the intentionality, like, God, allow me to see it. When I ask him for access for things like vision, or I ask him for, speech, if I say facilitate my tongue, you're asking, seeking these things. The God within, which is Holy Spirit, you're really not alone, because there's a spirit within us. That's a person, right? That's not a person, but just for an analogy, like that's a physical thing that's in us. It's operating us, there's in us. And then there's the flesh, that's our skin, that's like, making us move. We're out here, and it's unaligned because the spirit is feeling one thing and our flesh is feeling another. And so there's this like tug of war going on, that your flesh remembers, like every time your mom probably hit, not you, but for me, every time my flesh remembered, every time like my mother hit me, called me my ears, my flesh I heard my mom call me a bitch, things like that. And I'm not sure if I could say that on here, but things that your body will start to be uncomfortable remembering, because it's like, a mother shouldn't act like that, like that's not normal. So then I sat with myself and was like, well, what would a mother act like? What kind of mother am I? And if there was any similarities, I'll write it on one side. And if there's anything that's just within me that's like, I don't feel like that's kind. Like I don't want to hit my children. Every now and then there is a pop needed, like, hey, cut it out, But there's not one time where my 10-year-old makes me feel like I'm like, oh, I just need to punch him in the face. Like my mom would act on that. She wouldn't sit and think like, okay, yeah, I want to punch her in the face. She getting with me right now with her little attitude. She didn't allow me to really have a girlhood, right? Girls, they get, especially with their cycles, hormones, they get sassy, they get attitudes. That's normal. I see that with my friend Tifa that was here. She has 4 girls. So, but she'll walk away. She's like, I wanted to, I'm her safe space to really release that with me. So she doesn't really go and do it. Or even before me, she never has done that, but you can feel that way. And my kids are younger, so I realized through her lived experience that you can feel that way about your children, and those feelings will come up. And where did that stem from? And like when she would go back, it was like, well, her dad was abusive. She saw that. She saw the learned behavior of how should one act when they're angry. She saw that, like, oh, if you're angry, you hit, right? And if you're angry, this person's angry, they're having this explosive emotion. They're just explosive. They're this explosive reaction, throwing things, and I'll even speak in my experience, like that's how I viewed anger. So that's how I thought you get angry. Now my anger, when I sat with self, I learned, okay, this is a pattern, and I did it and I saw the pattern, and I sat with self and I was like, okay, I'm angry right now thinking about it. Like, what do I want to do? Like that got me angry thinking about the times that my mom was angry, right? And so I sat with self and I'm like, okay, I feel like I just want to breathe. Like I just want to breathe because I can't hit her. I don't want to hit something. Like with Janae, she learned her rage as she does want to hit something. So she found a jitsu place, and she bought a punching bag. So her rage came out. So again, it's just different to everybody's different experience and what you truly want to do when you're honest about that. Like she was honest, like, I want to fuck some shit up. That's my girl, okay? And she'll go and punch her punching bag. It's that rage. There is rage, and what her mother did to her, the rage is valid, right? And mine was anger, and my anger was valid, but I wanted her to feel my hurt. So I sat with that. I want my mom to feel how much she's hurt me. So I allowed myself to cry, because I can't tell her, I can't give that to her. It's not her, but it hurt so much that I cried. And it was that you have to have those emotional releases when that comes up. But the first thing is just seeking it, like asking God to allow a vision. And that's, it's power in the prayer. It's power in the tongue, right? So you're asking God, which is within. He left it to us. He left us an advocate. It says in the Bible, our Holy Spirit is our advocate. What we are becoming is advocates of our trauma, right? So within us, let me feel it, because our body protected us. But our spirit was still operating and seeing what was happening, but our flesh froze up and dissociated and just watched it through those eyes. So when you're asking God within to see the vision, he's gonna allow us to see and remember these traumatic events. But you have to sit with that. If he can trust you with that, you're asking and he's like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Can I trust you with this information? And so I sat with that. I was like, yes, I want to be a vessel. And I sat. You have to sit still long enough. You have to have those visions. You have to keep seeking with the intentionality of God, because that's the only way. He is the only one that's going to give us that permission. And so just, I hope that helps. I don't know. I kind of went on. Yeah.
Oh no, you definitely help. Thank you. I'm just here soaking everything in and just like really reflecting right now. So thank you.
Yeah. And then, like I said, get a journal that is like aesthetically appeasing to the eye. Like I love like just bright colors. I love stones and crystals. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No, go ahead. Oh, I was just saying the aesthetic of, like, I love beads. I love just natural tones, blacks and nude, tan colors, browns. So I have like little pouches that carry my pencils in different colors just to, go ahead.
Somebody knocked at my door.
Oh, you're fine.
Did somebody say something? They wanted to. If you want to go before me, you can.
No, I was just finishing up. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I was gonna say, being a mother with daughters, and the things that they saw with the abuse from their dad, and some of the things when I left them with their grandmother for a few months, 2 or 3 months. They held my youngest especially. She still holds anger. And there are some things, like Jasmine said, you as a child, of what happened to you is different than the parents when they're in their drugs or their whatever they're doing. And a child sees things differently. And some things my daughter will say, it's like, I mean, I was high, but I wasn't stupid. I know what I never. The things my daughter tells some of her other people is like, I abuse them, right? And I'm like, I did not hit my children after they turned. The only one that got spanked, I didn't beat him, was my son, my youngest son, because he was hard-headed. And a hard head make a soft butt. And I had to spank him. I didn't spank. I mean, some people don't believe in hitting their kids, but I grew up in the baby boomer generation where I had a boy, and I had to get a switch, and I had to spank him. Gave him about 5 licks because he came home after dark, and wasn't just after, it was late. Do you know he went out the window? I didn't know where that child was. He had went to his grandmother, but he wouldn't listen. And as a result of him not listening, he's in prison right now, doing 25 years. So sometimes discipline is necessary, but I never hit my kids when they were little, 2 or 3, and they're getting ready to touch a wall socket. I popped them. But my daughter, for some reason or other, I think it's anger because I got remarried, and she even said, I don't want the people that I love to love nobody but me. I couldn't understand that, but especially me, And so sometimes I never got an apology from my mother. I never got a validation for her trying to take me out at 5. She went to her grave with that. So sometimes we have to, forgiveness is for us, because until I forgave my mom, I was always depressed, always wanting to know why she did it. What did I do? Sometimes you just, in order to move on with your life, You don't forget it, but you may never get that, and you're going to be stuck in that position, and it may never happen. I mean, it's sad to say, but I held myself accountable for whatever happened, during that time. And then once, because I got tired of hearing it, she would always bring up, well, I wouldn't have left my daughter at 15 years old. Well, I had given them an opportunity. When I moved to New York, you could have come with me. But I had rules. You are a child. You will not just run the streets. You will not just do this and that. Their grandmother didn't. They could do whatever they want. So they chose to stay with my husband, my ex-husband's, their father's mother. And it's just things that it's complicated. Put it this way, it's complicated, the relationships between mothers and daughters, especially when they start getting older and you start bringing back stuff. When you're a mother and you get older, some of them, and I'm going to tell you now, because I'm in a place where everybody older than me, and I'm 65, they still act like teenagers. So, like I said, age is a number. It's a mindset that to be mature. So you may never get those things from those people that have hurt you and harmed you, and you may never get validation. So you've got to, it happened, and you don't want to set a bad example for your children. And that's about all I can give you. I trust God. I have my faith, and I've cried many a night. Sometimes, I still do cry, but I have to keep living. So, in order to keep living and to keep a sound mind, you can't get stuck in it. It happened, and I'm not saying just move on, but you have to move on and find a way to navigate in this world and to still love, and because everybody's not like that.
Yeah, I love that. Key, I'm gonna give you the mic. I just have one thing. I wanted to just share too what Mama Joe brought up for me. That forgiveness without an apology is hard. I'm operating, forgiving my mother without ever receiving. She's never apologized. Well, when she was drunk, she had her drunken moments. Like, I'm sorry, I was raised this way. She apologized. This man keeps playing with his tools. So there's that. Forgiveness without an apology. It is hard, but it is possible. It is doable with, again, groups and validation and feedback and such. And also, I feel when my mother brought up, or when I would bring up with my mother about abuse, she would say that I wasn't hitting you that hard, or, but I think and this is just an I statement, with my mother, she didn't really look at and a lot of people, I will say, a lot of people don't look at emotional abuse or verbal abuse as a real thing, because the emotional and verbal abuse is more difficult because it's in our head. It's not a physical touch or something. But when you're being emotionally abused at a young age, especially with my mother, because she would ask me things like, should I date him? She would ask me, like, to make like her grown-up decisions, like a lot, like should I date him, should I go on, what should I wear to this date? Like, she would talk to me like that, and I was like 10 or 11, and I look at my 10-year-old now, and I'm like, I would never ask him nothing, because he's gonna say the wrong thing, one, because he's a boy, but then two, it's not his, and I think that came from her not having like a good mate or a partner, or being married, because now I go to my husband, with those things, that is just not meant for a kid. And so when you go to like a kid at a young age like that, my mom looked over that emotional abuse, and it's not like she didn't even intentionally. That's why she doesn't know it's a thing. She didn't intentionally mean to emotionally abuse me, but the logic and science behind it is emotional abuse is the label. And so when I started using the language, it triggered her. And so I just wanted to, that kind of brought up that. But so Key, Mike is yours.
So I just wanted to touch on a few things. That's just the way that I am. I'm just like that. Don't accept that from anybody. I'm taking from someone who has experienced a lot of people that love to use well, that's how I am. That's just how I am. No, that's not acceptable. Don't accept it from anybody, no matter who they are. Also, boundaries is going to be your best friend during your healing journey. Curate them and stick to them. Do not bypass them for anybody. If you do, history is bound to repeat itself. There is no time limit on healing. However, don't get stuck in it to the point where you don't make any progress. Another thing is no change or change behavior is an indicator. Now use your discernment on what it indicates to you because it's different for everybody. And then lastly, okay, honey. And then lastly, second to last thing, you will still get triggered. Situations will trigger you, but it's up to you to acknowledge that you're triggered and to also decipher why you're triggered, because those two things at the end of your journey will kind of assist you with I think you said learning to not respond to everything. Like everything doesn't require a response. Those two things are going to help you with that. And then my last thing was never allow somebody to narrate your story. Speaking your truth. Don't let anybody talk for you. Those things are going to be very important. I learned it may be different for everybody, but I definitely did learn watching other people's stories as well as like going through it my own self. Those main things definitely are going to help you with getting through your healing journey, especially when they are ones that are severely traumatic and were caused by people that you held to a certain status quo on a certain plateau or to a certain degree. You held those people like I did up on a plateau where it's like you couldn't even wiggle the platform they were standing on in my eyes. Like those are going to be the things that's going to help you. I mean, along with what Jasmine and Mama said, but yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Honestly, I definitely gotta get a journal because I'm literally here and I'm literally just retracing so much stuff right now. Not in a bad way, but it's just like stuff I'm literally unpicking like from childhood with everyone what is saying, and I'm just thinking this has caused this to cause this to cause something that's like recently happened now. So no, I'm so glad I found you guys yesterday because it's literally, it's already helping me. So thank you so much, ladies.
You're welcome. And that's what Jasmine told me when I first joined. I think you came a little bit after, but girl, I have like 5 journals. I just bought my fifth journal off the TikTok shop from this place called Little Frog Shop. And Jasmine literally said that like if you gotta take it like in chronological order and write it down, like per your memory of what each year held for you, whether it was positive and negative, like all of those events, like that's going to help. That's something I'm definitely taking away from this session because it's going to help me. It's going to help.
And I think that because I did the Eric Erickson's chart with the group on Clubhouse. That's my core group. That's where I started with, and we didn't really get to end it. Some people did because of the age we stopped, but it goes up to like 100, so I think next week the schedule is on my calendar of the lives and the questions that we're doing throughout this week. You don't have to join them all, just whatever resonates or whenever you have time. If you see it and want to click on it, that's great, but my obligation is just to show up every day through the week. But next week I think I'm going to revamp the Eric Erickson's chart so that we can learn it. I think that's going to be very, very powerful to bring on this platform from Clubhouse, so I can teach more of that. I'll be doing some reels this week about starting that and what it's going to take. And so I would suggest having your journal, and like he said, we have like 5 different journals for different things, but have a journal for this support group too. Have the Healing Homegirls journal, because we're homegirls. We're chilling. We are saying what's happening. So if you can get a journal for this group and the questions and what comes up, and because we're all learning from each other too, we all get inspired and get a voice and get vocabulary that just builds and builds and builds. And that's why I say your content's important, because it's good to feel that way and release it too. That's a form of journaling. That's a form of starting your own community, all that. So, and Kay is here. Hey, Kay. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. This is Kay, guys. She's part of the core group so she's coming on. Hey, Kay.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you? You feel emotionally exhausted?
Oh, girl. It's been a doozy. And I'm trying my best to keep my head above water.
Oh.
Yeah.
We are on transformation talks. So whatever you decide to release is whatever you decide to release. You know you're safe here, girl. Transformation talks. What's one change you've made recently that has, I'm going to just say, impacted your healing?
Not letting Katie go boom. Because Katie pop off. And I've realized that I feel better afterwards because I've gotten it out, because now I have a voice, because before it was, I had to hold it in. I couldn't say what I felt. I couldn't release. I couldn't let it go. But now anybody could get it. Ain't nobody safe. But that doesn't always serve me well. It doesn't always benefit me well to just be ready to pop off, even though it's legitimate, even though it's warranted, and I'm validated and all, and it's justified. But it ain't always the right move. Because sometimes me popping off, that could cause a problem at the job. Sometimes me popping off could cause a problem with the family or the kid. It's just not always beneficial to do what I feel. And I had to learn my feelings and my emotions. Yes, they are valid because they validate what I'm dealing with and what the occurrences are. But sometimes my feelings and my emotions are liars. And that's just facts. Because they change over 200 times a day. So if it's that much change, then it's not factual. It's contingent upon what I'm dealing with, what I'm going through in the moment. So I can't stand on what I'm feeling. I can't stand on my emotion and think that that's factual. It's valid because of my experience. It's valid because of the occurrence, but it's not facts. And I have to learn, and I've learned that. I've learned that to better navigate, to better help me show up better for God, the God that I serve, and show up better for myself, that I have to keep my emotions and my feelings under subjection. And the way that I can keep me under subjection is to keep my higher authority over what I think, my higher authority over what I feel. So I put God's word above mine. And that's what has been so monumental in helping me grow, not just go through, but grow through what I'm going through. Not just surviving it, but thriving in it, evolving, building, flourishing, getting in community like this with y'all and learning best demonstrated tips and practices on what I can do to better me, what I can do to work on loving me in a way that I've never been loved, knowing how to love myself, because all these years I didn't know how. I wasn't allowed. Man, I've been learning so much, but most impactful, not letting Katie boom, just putting Katie under subjection, saying, hey girl, hey girl, hey, reel it back in. Hey girl, hey, we gotta do it a better way. Yeah, we got our fight, we got our voice, but now we got to put the reins on it and we got to learn to control it. And that's what's been most impactful for me. I'll talk with y'all later.
Well, wait, Kay. You have to vocally, we can vocally support.
Oh, you know I'm open. I'm always open. I don't give y'all the kind of no trouble, no pushback.
Hey, or if anyone wants to come on mute before I go, that's fine. Anybody? No? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna resonate with you, Kay. That is another thing that I've learned is the whole popping off, like anybody can get it. Like I have had enough sort of energy I was on very much last year, and it has affected some relationships within my family that that we've just, like one of my aunts, I'm just not talking to them at the moment, and the relationship was already falling apart with this person. And I could have probably saved it if I've kind of just was in the mind space I was in now, where I'm willing to just kind of express my anger, frustration in a more constructive way. But I just resonated with you that, sometimes popping off, it doesn't benefit us. Like, it felt good at the time, like I finally got what I needed to say, all the hurt that I've been carrying off my chest. But like now it's just difficult for family members because they feel awkward if we're both around and stuff. So no, I just wanted to say I resonate with that, and like, you're not the only one who's been missed pop off. And I just wanted to kind of validate your experience that I have done that as well.
I love you, my sister. Thank you. We're going to get it together, baby. We're going to work through this thing. Okay, it is not going to control us.
I know for myself, verbal venting with those who would hold space for me and understand I'm not going off on you, but I've got to get this off my chest. And having people who simply held space and validated that experience was helpful. And also the punching bag that I bought back in 2020. I bought the biggest punching bag on the market. It's a standing one. And just let her rip. Man, that felt good. It was love at first thwack. That's what I say. When I heard it go thwack on the bag, I was like, oh yeah, I want more of you. But in my opinion, there's a difference between, bleeding our anger on others and venting it physically or verbally. Because, anger has a lot of energy and you can't repress it for too long. So, like, having the outlets and the different options for getting it out is really, really helpful for me. And if, sharing what helped me with my rage, especially once processing it in EMDR, realizing just how unjust the things that happened to me were. Woo. I was extremely angry. But we go through it. It's the pain process, and I just hope that helped in some way.
Oh, absolutely. And it was right on time. You don't know how in a line that share was, because it just reminded me of some things. It brought clarity, some things. And then just knowing that, like, I have friends that I am that for them. I'm that safe space. Like my homegirls will call me, let out their rage, and I will just listen because it's valid. Like you said, like the experience. Mama Joe. The experience is valid and rage is valid. And I wanted to say, for me, I don't feel that as though feelings or emotions are liars. I think they are actually our biggest truth tellers, because it's showing us what to look for, what to
they're triggers, right? And like Janae said, anger has a lot of energy. So it may feel confusing or as though it is like lying, like you lying, like, no, you really do want to sometimes punch people in the face. I mean, that's valid. And that is a human emotion. The only thing I feel what is liars is the behavior. Like we can be angry, but it's like Janae was saying, we can choose to not bleed on someone, right? So if I'm angry like Janae, hers is rage. So how she takes her rage out, again, she punches her punching bag. That is a healthy way to let that rage out, right? You do want to punch something. You don't have to go punch the person, but if you have a pillow, a bed, if you just need to scream and just, sometimes I'm like a gorilla and just banging on my bed or my pillow when I'm angry. Sometimes I'm in the mirror picturing I'm talking to that person, especially if I'm mad at my husband and I'm just like, fuck you, bitch. You gotta do that. You do gotta release that because it is valid. It is your anger, and it is being honest with God. God is showing up there, I'm not saying pray this stuff, but when you have a moment with self to feel how you feel about a person and be honest on how you feel about that person, that is a healthy way. That is, and so I always say the feelings will, these emotions, these are all the emotions that our bodies feel. And I even go as far as to say that these are all the spirits within us. I feel like our emotions, this is what is the Holy Spirit is trying to get us to feel. And we went so many years without feeling these. We only felt the anger and happy. And if you think those are the only emotions that you are allowed to experience, I tell people they're wrong all the time. And they're not wrong, but just that they have more to experience and more to learn about themselves. This is self-awareness. You can find these on my storefront, and I'm not trying to sell this. I'm really get these stickers, stick them on your journal, stick them inside your journal, in front of your journal, wherever you can see it, and have it in front of you as you're journaling to literally write down, because art therapy is a thing. So the colors, pick a good pencil that you like writing with, pick good pen. I like those gel pens, and things. I was just about to ask where I can get one. Yeah, they're on my Amazon, and I can I'll send you a DM with it personally. But if you go onto my Linktree and it just says Amazon storefront, I think I have it under mental health tools, something of that form, but it's under there. And you stick them on and have it in front of you. This is my planner, so I have my planner in front of me as I'm journaling. And if I'm feeling like, I didn't even know disgust was like an emotion, but then you go down and it's like, and then you have to ask yourself, why do I feel disgust? And I'll be like, oh, well, I feel disapproval, I feel judgmental, or I feel like I'm being judged. So it can go either way. You got to learn how you feel and how you can express it. This is a great tool to understand that they're not liars. They're our biggest truth tellers, our emotions. These are our biggest truth tellers to tell us how we are feeling, because our young minds couldn't articulate what we were feeling. I was moving around, moving my phone. I apologize. Oh, you're good, Mama Joe. So yeah, get the feelings wheel, and I love just getting the stickers. I also have like pillows around my house, because sometimes my son, he's like, this happened to me at school. I'm like, okay, what feeling were you feeling, because I want him to experience that at his young age, so he can get older and articulate to me how he's feeling or how someone is making him feel. And then we adjust our boundaries together. But I love this emotions wheel. It's just a good place to start. There's more wheels. There's like a life wheel. There's other wheels that we'll get into, but to get this one in a journal, especially the season we're about to go into for the Healing Homegirls of doing the Eric Erickson chart, you're gonna need this in a journal. That's the tools. Even when I do it here, I have a client that I'm gonna go to next week, and I give care packages because my love language is gift giving. So if you guys ever want to donate, when you donate to like my Cash App or Chime, it goes to me getting these gifts for my clients. Like I literally use it for that. I get them off Amazon. I get them a journal, a study Bible. The study Bible I use because it has a cross reference, and I get them the stickers for the thing. Or if they need tools of just getting like a binder or whatever, I get that for them to organize the Eric Erickson's chart. If you're gonna do the Eric Erickson's chart, you don't need a journal for that. The journal for the Healing Homegirls you do need, but if you're gonna do the Eric Erickson's chart with our group, you're gonna need a binder because you're gonna need to do your Eric Erickson's chart, and then if you have children, and then you want to understand your mother and fathers, so you'll have like tabs for them. But it's a whole thing. So yeah, I'm sorry I kind of went off there, but if Mama Joe, you can come off mute if you say what you were.
I'm so sorry. I'm on live. I'm so sorry. I was moving my phone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was moving my phone. I was trying to do my stair step. I was trying to listen to Charles Stanley. I was trying to get my coffee and my cigarette ready to come on out here. And I didn't know I had mashed so many buttons. I apologize for that. What I wanted to say was life, boundaries. And people aren't like you're running a race on a racetrack. They don't have, you have to set boundaries and different boundaries for certain people that you contact, come in contact with. And like joy, I have joy. And I found joy through scripture and through Christ Jesus. And so that cannot be taken away. The fruits of the Spirit, people think that you cannot pay your way. And we're not, forgiveness is for us to be able to grow. And when I forgave my mother, it was like a weight taken off of me because I had so much stuff and so much hurt and so much pain and so many questions of why. And when I gave that, I started to live again. And I don't know, it's just nature for me. I love being outside. I love seeing things naturally. And your emotions, sugar cane truck, I don't know if y'all hear me clear. I live in a country, so we got sugar cane, we got tractors, we got all that, so noises. But I'm just happy that I have found my family. And it helps me so much because I can understand my daughters and where they are coming from. And it's helped me. I mean, I'm a totally different type of mama now. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And I did. Janae, I actually came in from New York with so much anger towards my husband. I wanted to tie him up in a tree and beat him like a slave. And I picture that. Oh, TikTok, if y'all take that off, oh well. But I did. Because I wanted to pay him back for all the suffering that he did to me. And that man took me through, ooh. And then I said, and I was punching all my brother friends, my brother gay. And sometimes they would get smart and want to talk back. And I beat them, punched them, and do all kinds. And that physical violence does not help anything. And because I was abused, so, but I'm just laughing because I'm sitting out here and I'm looking at these trees, and it calms me. Whatever, get yourself in a place to where you have your calm, your peace. Everybody needs that peace. And when something disturbs your peace, don't even try to question it. Get up, walk away. Don't let nobody take your peace. And I've learned that, and I'm practicing that. And the thing is, don't just talk about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about it for years, and I complained for years. And my brother told me one day, I'm tired of hearing you tell me about your husband. You still with him? So I said, he's right. I'm putting all my burdens on him. In this space, we've all gone through the same things. And so we can release that and then get positive feedback. And that's what I love. And there's no judgment. And Jasmine allows you to speak as long as you want. And she writes notes. And when she comes back, this young lady right here, girl, you got some wisdom in you. Like I said, if I had that in my 40s, I'd be a multimillionaire right now.
It actually came from my mother.
Well, Mama, Jasmine, Mama, thank you. Because nothing but God did that. The light and love of God.
Let's not thank her. It came from the trauma from, but no, I know.
Well, God allowed that in your life so you could be in the place where you are now, helping others.
Gifts.
Each one of us. God allowed that because He knew we could carry that. We could hold that. And then we could stand in our truth before the nations to declare. And nothing, that comes from love. Whether we realize it or not, we've always loved ourselves. We just didn't take time to love ourselves because we was too busy. We had so much of it. We shared it with everybody else and they're abusing it. So I appreciate y'all and God bless y'all.
Thank you, Mama Joe. I love you. You brought up for me to remind too. If you ever want to get, because you get positive feedback here, but also I suggest tools to use, and that always scared. Like when I started with my family, and I was like, "You get the feelings wheel." They're like, we ain't calling on things." I'm like, it's a sticker, so I think it would be wonderful. I always suggest with my clients out here that they get, because mine is gift giving, so that's wrapped around the Healing Homegirls. That's why I accept donations. If you want to get like a gift for your children, even if for older women that join, and you can teach them, or even just giving like the feelings wheel, getting them a journal and some nice pens, because art therapy is a thing. So when I like, you always see me switch pens and stuff. It's how I'm feeling. Like I'll have like a marker pen. I have like a gel one that's just like, it's like smooth when I write. And that I learned that through my ADHD because I'm undiagnosed. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't take medication for that. So the art therapy really helped me with with my journaling and having like a pouch with different things. So if you want to if like you ever want to give a care package to your children, get the feelings wheel, a journal, and different types of pens and markers for them to write, because keeping our minds busy with activities too, that's the mindfulness practice to not to handle the triggers as they come up for us, because this healing journey, you're gonna get triggered. That's how you heal. It's detoxing. It's making yourself aware of what you need to detox, but in order to detox it has to go through your body. So that emotion that got stuck here, if it's anger, you tightened up your chest and you were pissed off at someone, it's there, it's still there. And like Janae said, it's holding a lot of energy that's just stagnant there. So once you start to breathe that through, once you start to talk that through with yourself, once you start to operate and see what that anger would have looked like on that person. Like I said, don't go punch the person, but a punching bag you can invest in. Janae, you need to start your Amazon storefront, girl. Go do that if you want to. And I always suggest bring a journal to these groups, but yeah, starting an Amazon storefront for you, Janae, of how you can teach your community to let out their anger, how you learned, punching bag, punching gloves, put all that on your Amazon storefront, and then suggest that's to your community of what worked. For my anger, what worked for me is, my mindfulness practice of meditation worked, allowing people to cry, and just utilizing myself, because I have the capacity for someone to call me and completely be going off, and I do not take it personally, because it's their experience with another person, and I have to just, yep, I hear you, like, it's valid. So sometimes you just need a person to just sit with you while you go through that. That's why I started the Healing Homegirls. So, and Amanda's here, and Kay, forgiveness isn't saying that what was done to you wasn't wrong. It's just not worth keeping. You held hostage and bound by it. Amen. If you want to come off mute, Kay.
I just hated that. I got, as soon as Janae was telling me about the punching bag, did the doggone phone die? So I didn't get to finish hearing her, and I didn't get to finish hearing you, but I figured y'all would keep going, and I could go back and listen to the replay.
Did you want me to repeat? Because I don't know if I can clip it. I can clip it, or you want me to repeat it. It doesn't matter, whichever.
No, that's what I said. We ain't got to double back, so that's why I said I'll go back and listen.
Okay, and Amanda, if you want to come up and share your transformation talk, or I see she's here. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a second, but if anybody wants to come off mute or say anything, because we're coming towards the end, Amanda.
And just go continuing on that forgiveness, because a lot of people I'm encountering, well, it don't sound like you've forgiven because you still sound angry. Woo, people so messy and judgy that it ain't even funny sometimes. Like, who are you to tell me what kind of work I've done in my heart? What kind of work I've done on myself? Who are you to tell me whether or not I've forgiven someone? Have you forgotten that it's only one God? Because it's God who looks at the heart of a person. Man can only see the outward appearance. So you're looking at me at surface and face value. And because I get a little hot tempered when I start thinking about injustices and unfair treatment and mistreatment, yeah, I get a little hot round the collar because I'm passionate about it. That's the difference. You're hearing my passion and you interpret what your understanding of passion as, oh, she's angry. So that anger means, no, that's righteous anger, baby, because it's valid. I now have a voice and I'm an advocate for those who don't have voices, who haven't found theirs yet, who don't know how to speak up for themselves or who are unable to. And because I found mine, baby, I'm a stand for the people. I am my sister and my brother's keeper. So because I am who I am, because I am is in, he said, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So that's where I get this boldness and this courageous spirit from, because I am empowered with the I am that I am. It's the God in me. So because of that, people don't know how to take it. People get a little bent around the little rough around the edges, and they don't know how to take me. And I'm really not concerned about how people take me, but it's the self-righteousness for me. Like, how dare you sit and try to look down on your high and mighty horse, down your little self-righteous nose, your little pious nose, and judge me to tell me I ain't healed and I ain't forgiven. Judge your mammy. Judge your cross-eyed grandmammy. Don't judge me, because I am not the one nor the two. I'm sorry. Katie be trying to do better, but see, Katie be still... The Lord is yet working on me. Y'all pray for me. I'm just saying, I be trying to do better, but the people be trying me. And they think because I go around here singing these songs and quote these little scriptures that they won't catch it and that I won't give them the business. And I be trying so hard, and I be telling the Lord, creating me a clean heart and renewing me a right spirit. And he said, girl, I did, but you be still letting that old man spirit rise up. I'll just say, y'all pray for me. I love y'all. I'll talk with y'all later.
I love you too, Kay. I don't know if Amanda having phone issues. She probably won't be able to make the Healing Circle, but I'm gonna do it. We're gonna have ours tomorrow again, 8:15. Let me see. So that's just gonna be our wellness check-in. The question is gonna just be, how are you honoring your mental health, your mental and emotional well-being today? So just honor that, if you honor it through the night or honor it by like Shay said, like getting a journal, that you journal today. I want to hear some of the mindfulness practices if you're practicing them. And mindfulness is all things, even reading. So if you're reading the word, if you're reading a book, if you're writing a book, the mindfulness in writing and people, that's what, it scared a lot of Christian clients that I had until they understood it, which is so funny. But when I say holistic, and it gets blurred into other things because it became more like entertainment now, but like with chakras and stuff. So I always say, listen to your practitioner if you go to things like this. If they're talking about chakras or crystals, I wouldn't suggest, because those are distractions. Like, I've done them. I know what they do. They distract you. So if you go to a practitioner that's just being self, I would say, try the meditations, try with the art therapy, again, journaling, writing. I do my Bible study. I love my study Bible because, again, it's just that it occupies my mind with studying and cross-referencing. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation. I can't forgive you and not restore. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation. Yeah, I can forgive you and not restore. Amen. Yes, going back to the forgiveness, we were talking earlier about, in this journey, we're going to have to forgive, not have to, because I stopped saying that because I had Janae's lived experience to learn. Some people don't have to nor want to forgive. So I always stick to I statements. For me, forgiveness was essential to forgive without an apology. In my case, forgiveness without an apology did release a hold, because like we said, anger holds a lot of energy. So when I had anger towards my mom, I felt like I was giving her energy versus like forgiving and like letting her go, being there in spirit. Versus that's the spiritual practice behind that. Your position that you once held with me and the access you had to me. Exactly. Adjust them. So position you once held. Yeah. Position you once held. I want to speak on that. So if it's your parent or sibling, like Key, when she was here, she was saying it was an older sister. If it's someone that had like that authority for you, that authoritative figure. And sometimes I found with older women too, they've put their kids in an authoritative position, like authority. Like my mom, I really felt like there was times that I was the parent, and that made me like not her authority, but it put there was a tether there. My brother feels the same. She's wrong in no way. She will never apologize for anything. Oh, brother. I said brother. I was like, you have my brother feels the same, feels that she's wrong. Kay said, yes, my brother feels that she's wrong in no way. She will never apologize. Yeah. Yeah. My mom in a sober mind will never apologize to me, but let her have a few drinks. She'll go on to, and that's how I know she has guilt of what she did for me. And she knows that it was wrong, because I've had to pick her up drunk, and that drunk talk be kind of be the honest talk, it really does. Like when I would pick her up and like carry her to the room, I'm sorry, my mom, and I don't doubt her mom did do certain things to her, as far as like my mom would call me a bitch, so that's what I became. And I'm just like, and I'm thinking as a young child in my head, like, well, you call me that, so clearly I saw a pattern, or I spotted a pattern at a young age, but I couldn't articulate, or my mind couldn't wrap around like, okay, like what's happening. But now I know, like as an adult seeing that situation, or if I was just taking myself out of the situation and seeing like my young self. That's why I say another thing in this journey, Shay, I kind of going all over the place, but another thing is getting pictures of yourself at those different ages as well will help you remember. So like when me and my grandmother did it, she got pictures, like they were black and white, and she put it in front of her, and she was remembering stuff that happened to her siblings. It was crazy. But getting pictures, because visualization, again, I feel that, I know that, I'm not going to even say I feel or guess, because I studied it. God loves aesthetic. So either how the person was dressed, or how they look, or like I've noted, the reason we came to another generational secret, because I saw a picture of my grandmother's siblings in a picture she sent to me, and we were on Zoom doing this. And my great uncle, he passed away last year. He had his head down in all the pictures, and he was about my son's age, 3. And I was like, why does he look so sad? My heart was breaking. He just looked sad in all these pictures. And so we uncovered, in the last conversation I called him, my great uncle met me in my mom's tummy. Like I didn't know this uncle. I called him, and he was in the car with my cousin, and they're in California, and the first thing he blurted to me was, yeah, because I was raped when I was 3. Just like that. Like I'm just like, hey, how are you doing? This is again like second time talking in a lifetime, like my great uncle saying, and this is right before he had a stroke. And I was actually, his daughter was my client. That's how my cousin. But yeah, that's the first thing he blurted to me. And I went to my grandma. I was like, now this makes sense. I was like, you know why his head is down in all these pictures? Because he was molested at 3 years old. And he gave me the name, and I told her the name, and she said it started all making sense. So when you become that generational curse breaker, sometimes you become that like person that kind of puts the pieces of the puzzles together, because there's so much being said over here, so much being said over there, so much being said over here, and no one's talking about it out loud. They just thought I was going to keep a secret. No, he told me this. You said this, and then now I see in the pictures this. And so we were able to pray for him. I was able to, I fasted and was able to cry and release that for him. And right after, he had a stroke, and not long after that, he died. And I was telling my grandma that I was like, you need to call your brother, because he's going to be in heaven soon. And I remember plain as day, she was like, she didn't respond, but then when he passed away, she's like, "You're a prophet," and I was like, whatever that means. But yeah, I kind of knew because he had a stroke, and then he was able to release that with me. But yeah, it's been a journey, this healing journey. But I'm gonna go down to the comments. Alcohol equals wine, liquor, spirits. Yeah, yeah. And that's why I don't drink. And my husband, he's never drank in his life. He grew up in the church, so he actually listened to his parents. He never had a drink in his life. And I remember I kissed him and I had drank wine. That was the first time he ever even knew the taste. So he was really mad, and I was like, I am so sorry. And right after that, I was like, I'm not gonna ever drink around him. And I've learned in this healing journey, I would just drink because it was socially appropriate. And so when I stopped going out and stopped, pretty much when I got married, I stopped drinking. So it's been over 6 years now. And every now and then wine, it's in the Bible in celebration. So if I'm kicking back but I don't go to it for a vice. I'm not even sure if we're allowed to even say that on here, but a glass of wine, especially at the end of the year, girls, powerful. Thank you, Shay. At the end of the year, I love doing vision boards for myself. So I'm going to do like a group vision board activity where we can all join and do our vision boards. I say get a glass of wine, get some steak going, a fire pit, and it's going to be, winter during the new year. I love doing vision boards. So yes, Mama Joe said, yes, so true. Secrets. My brother was molested by a priest. Wouldn't talk about it until now. Yeah. Yep. And that's the ripple effect of our healing, is making it more comfortable for our family to tell those family secrets, because it's like, oh my gosh, if that would have been told, that probably would have saved other kids that were around from being. And I never met the man. What was heartbreaking in this healing journey was to contact people that knew my family and was around my family, and to learn that my own grandfather was one of the abusers. Not to anybody that I was talking to, but to like his oldest daughter that it was my grandmother's half sister. Her name was Rosa Lee, and I met her once when my uncle committed suicide. She was a crackhead, plain and simple. And I was like, that's my aunt. But now, this happened 3 years ago when I found out what he did to her. I said, that makes sense, because she was molested by her father. Yes, to my grandfather, I took it, and I was responsible in being honest and true. My grandfather molested her, and so yes, she got addicted to drugs because her father was molesting her. And granted, I've laid in the bed with my grandfather. He has never touched me, so you can imagine what's going through my mind. I'm like, he wouldn't do that, I've took naps with, and I've done hypnotherapy. He's never done nothing. I've never, not by a family member. And so it was hard to believe that, but I had to accept that as her truth because of her outcome. She was on drugs. And so, yeah, that was a lot of releasing. For when you go through this healing journey and stuff comes up, you're going to be releasing a lot of generational. That's why I say the generational curse gets released, because we are telling their truth and expressing their truth and accepting their truth and crying for them. The tears that, like my uncle, he just blurted it out. He wasn't able to cry. I was like, let's pause. I was like, let's pause here. And it's my great uncle Saint. I mean, he was like, he's 70. When we were talking, he was probably 72. And then went to his birthday, he was 73. So yeah, a lot goes into that. A lot goes into this healing journey. I'm telling, oh, your life is not. Okay, I think I said something inappropriate that it gave me a warning. So yeah, but I don't know. And my father wants to join, so I'll probably see. Fatherless. But yeah, so if anybody wants to come off mute, if not, I'll hear in the healing circle soon. There's someone joining.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how
Hello.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I didn't even really try to join, but
Oh, that's fine.
I noticed y'all was talking about like generational curses and things like that. Uh the Lord, he been dealing with me with a renewed mind is the ultimate deliverance. Uh that's what a battle is. we need a renewed mind, because even if we get delivered, it's still strongholds and thought patterns that we have. You get what I'm saying? That need to be renewed.
That's powerful.
The scriptures say, as a man thinketh, so is he. The enemy knows this, and he knows, like, long as I can get you to think a certain way, then I can manifest my will in your life. You know what I'm saying? So as the scripture says, the scripture even says that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that works in us. See, the enemy want to shut down that power, because God is able to do according to the power in you. So sometimes when we don't believe that God is going to do it, he's not, because he waiting on you. You get what I'm saying? He can't help a double-minded person. So true deliverance is the renewed mind. And that is the mind walks and lives and operates from the spirit. And that's all I wanted to say.
That was powerful and right on time. No, thank you. Thank you for that. Yes.
So timely. You better come on, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to come up. I just seen the invite. I don't know if I clicked
That
it
was
on
the
accident.
Lord. That was
Yeah.
the Lord.
Amen. But yeah, it's the mind. You know what I'm saying? And God is opening he's opening the eyes of our understanding in this hour. You know what I'm saying? Because there will be strong delusions. So he don't want his people to be delusional. You get what I'm saying? So he want us to have that renewed mind. That's where the power at. Because if your mind is not renewed, the enemy can make you continue in cycles. Cycles. You get what I'm saying? But once that mind is renewed, that's where the power at. That's where the power at. You know? So
Oh, yeah.
God
Yeah.
bless you,
Please come to
ladies.
our circles more. Yes, sir.
God bless you, ladies. May the Lord be with y'all. I'm gonna follow, and I guess I'll connect with y'all another time.
Yes, I'll follow you back. We are
Amen.
having morning
Peace
8.
and blessings.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you back when I get off here. Thank you. Thank you. That was a perfect way to end this. Like, right. You don't even. I'm gonna talk with you after that. Thank you.
All right.
That's because yes, we're talking about just rewiring everything we were taught, rewiring learned behavior, rewiring ourselves, and renewing. I love that word. I love it. I love it.
All right. Amen.
Amen. All right, guys, I'm gonna log off here and have a blessed day. It's still morning time. We got work to do. Go record, go journal, go do all the things that you know to do. Yeah, love you guys.
Bye all. Take care.
Love all y'all.
Love
Have an
y'all.
amazing
Later.
day.
Bye.